What's up, fam? Welcome to yet another video. Today I'm going to attempt to review this bike. I've had it for about possibly 2 months now. I have about 1,800 miles on this thing, closing out on 1,900. Let me just double check. Okay. Yeah, so 1,884.6 miles. Let's talk about the negatives. So, one thing I don't like about this bike is that it vibrates quite a bit. Now, it is a pretty common thing to mention about this bike. A lot of people have mentioned it before. It is very vibrating. There's a lot of vibrations on this thing. A lot of vibrations. And I'm not quite sure what causes it, but maybe it's because, you know, Kawasaki probably cut some corners to save on cost of the bike, lowering the price tag. Yeah, I mean, if you guys have any idea why it vibrates quite a lot, let me know. What else do I don't like about the bike? I guess the sound. Even with the exhaust, it doesn't sound the best out there, you know. I mean, like, when you're in the lower end of the RPMs, like below 3,000 or below 4,000, it just does not sound good, even with the new exhaust. But however, once you get past the 4,000 RPM range, it does sound good. So that's really, you know, my complaint is with sound. Overall, it does sound pretty okay. Not the best sounding out there, but it's, you know, it'll have you smiling once you get up to the higher RPMs. Okay, so that's two things that I dislike about the bike: vibration and sound. But then again, sound is a little bit of it's debatable, because, you know, because it does sound good once you get past 4,000. Even with the stock exhaust, it sounds pretty damn good with the, you know, once you get past the 4K range RPM. Man, I'm struggling to find things wrong with this bike that I dislike. I want to say the speed isn't the fastest, but the thing is that it's not really much of an issue to me, you know. Like, it's not blistering fast like any of the other super sports or any of the 650 class. It's the slowest of the 650 class, but at the same time, you know, it's good enough for me. So, like, not really sure if I want to say the speed or it's not fast enough as a negative, you know. Like, it's exactly where I want it to be in terms of power. You know, like, more power would be nice, but, you know, as is, it's already okay for me. So, what else? Any more negatives? I'm drawing blanks, guys. So I guess I'll conclude that section of the review, you know. Let me just think about it for a little bit before I can proceed to the next section. Any more negatives? That's really it, honestly. Like, alright, let's move on to the things I love about it. Off the top of my head, I want to say the styling is, like, it looks good to me. It looks amazing, right? Like, I have no complaints with how it looks. I look at it and I'm like, oh my fucking god, I can't believe that's mine, you know. The reason why I bought this bike, like, so quickly when I saw it on the showroom floor, was that I just, like, looked at it and I was like, holy crap, it looks beautiful, and I just fell in love with it, the styling, and I just said, fuck it, I'm buying this shit. And so that's it. Styling's done. You know, this is kind of a bullshit review. I'm just like riding around, decided, hey, I'm gonna make a little 1800 mile review of this bike. I'm gonna just round it up to 2K on the title. So next up is the ergonomics, I guess, I like about it. The ergonomics of this bike is perfect. Like, I had a CBR 500R before this bike, and I felt very cramped on that thing. And as soon as I got this one, I sat on it. It was like, it felt like it was for me. You know, like I sat on it, I was like, holy shit, it's like molded to my body. You know, the size, I don't look small on this like I did on my 500R. I sit on this and I'm like, yo, it fits like a glove. So no complaint with this thing in the ergonomics sector of the review. What else? Things I like about this bike. I want to say the color, but you know that counts for styling as well. Let me cut this guy off. What else? Things I like about this bad boy. I want to say, I mean, I did say that I didn't like the sound, but once you pass 4,000 RPM on this thing, it does sound pretty damn good. So yeah, that's something I like about it. I mean, of course, sound is very subjective. You know, like I saw something online where the sound of your motorcycle is like your own fart. You either like it or you don't. You know, no, that's not accurate. The sound of your motorcycle is like your own fart. It's like you like yours, but others don't. I don't know, I'm probably saying it wrong. But there's that. You know, past 4,000 RPM, this bike sounds fucking beautiful to me. It sounds very meaty, and it's just very satisfying to ride. What else? I guess the power. I really like the amount of power this bike has. It's like down low when you're like at a standstill by a stoplight. You floor it at first and second gear. It's just like, oh my god, the amount of like pull it gives you is pretty substantial. Even on the highway like this, you drop down a fourth gear and it just gives you a pretty decent amount of pull. I mean, I know people out there who have more experience with motorcycles and have ridden like many other bikes. The power on this thing might not be, you know, amazing to them, but to me it's like mind-blowing, honestly. Because, you know, the only bike I've ever ridden was a CBR 500R, and you know, this thing blows that bike out of the water. On paper, it doesn't seem like there's much of a difference between the CBR 500R and this bike, but trust me, this bike will gap a CBR 500R for days by like maybe 10 car lengths, honestly. And like, you know, the amount of power this thing has on the highway, it's great. It's just perfect. It's like you have plenty of passing power on the highway. Like you're never gonna have not enough power when you're on this bike for, like, you know, normal passing, overtaking other cars on the highway and stuff. And like, okay, so let's see, what else do I like about this bike? I guess, it's fun, I guess. Yeah, it's a fun bike to ride. I have read plenty of comments online where the 180 crank on this bike makes this bike very boring to ride, but honestly, man, I don't see it. You know, it's probably because I've like never really ridden any other motorcycle other than the CBR 500R, a freaking Nighthawk. That was probably a 250 Nighthawk, honestly, on my MFS course. And this bike, you know, that's the only bikes I've ridden. I've only ridden 3 bikes, and all I can say is this bike, you know, to a beginner, this bike is amazing. You know, it does everything I want it to do and more. And you know, for a beginner, this bike is like an amazing thing. You know, for someone with more experience, who's ridden in like many other motorcycles, I could see why people would say that this bike is boring. Like it's very safe. I guess that's also another thing I like about this bike. This bike is very safe to ride. Well, I wouldn't say very, very safe, because, you know, riding a motorcycle in general is pretty fucking dangerous. But like safe in the sense that, like, it has traction control, you know, so you could just pull the throttle as much as you want, as hard as you want it to do, and the traction control will be there to save your ass. So that's what I mean when I say it's safe. You know, it's a safe bike. It's not intimidating. It's very effortless to ride. You know, you don't have to think too much when you're riding it, which is, you know, why another reason why I like it. It's very easy to ride. Biker. What do I like about this bike? I feel like I've said everything, but like very summarized. I know I could go into more in-depth detail of each category I've mentioned, like the speed, power, sound, looks. I guess there's also one last thing that I like about this bike. It's the fact that it's cheap. I mean, the upfront cost wasn't cheap, you know. It was like 10 grand out the door. Definitely paid way more money than I should have, but you know, the market just sucks right now, you know, and I couldn't wait. I said, fuck it. I just sucked it up and paid the 10 grand. Oh, that sounds amazing. Like, once you get like past the 1 year, I know this is a 2023 model, so the insurance cost is going to be on the higher side. Right now I pay $180 for full coverage because I need it. Theft insurance is, you know, a must if you live in NYC. So I pay $180. However, I know if you get this bike and like maybe a 2020 model, I know you'll only be paying like about $85 per month. At least that's what I was quoted for. You know, I was looking for a 650 on the marketplace, Facebook Marketplace, and I was looking into like Ninja 650s in the 2020 year model, and I got a quote from Progressive for full coverage for about $85 per month. Unfortunately, I didn't go for the for used because just a lot of people out there were just selling this bike for way too much money for a used high mileage Ninja 650. You know, I was looking for a 2020 Ninja 650 Facebook Marketplace, and like the average cost for a used one with like, I don't know, 5,000 to 7,000 miles was like 6 to 7 grand. So I'm like, what the fuck? I'm not paying 7 grand for a 7K mile bike. So there's that. So I just decided, fuck the private sellers. I'm gonna just go buy it from the dealership, buy a brand new Mitsubishi Lancer. This is a nice car. Shame they stopped making cars. Yeah, you know, insurance costs, if you get a later model like 2020, this bike is very cheap to insure. And I know in the next year or so, my insurance is going to drop pretty quick, like 180 to maybe possibly $100 for full coverage too per month.